Question: why doesn't anyone call out Hamas for committing war crimes and violating international law? Because that's exactly what they're doing, and on today's show, we're going to show you the evidence on camera, up close and personal. The IDF just released a groundbreaking video showing a newly discovered Hamas tunnel in Gaza. Not only did one of the senior Hamas commanders who participated in the October 7th attack live right next door to the Rantisi hospital in Gaza, but a 60-foot deep tunnel was discovered right next door as well. Where did the tunnel lead? You guessed it, right into the basement of the hospital. You'll be even more shocked to find out what was found in that basement: weapons, munitions, RPG launchers, grenades, suicide vests, and a large amount of evidence that Hamas held civilian hostages there. All of those details coming up on today's show. I'm Luke, and this is the Israel Guys. Welcome to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of anti-Israel propaganda and Jew hatred, you should have a connection to the land and people of Israel. Guys, thank you so much for being with us. Make sure you hit subscribe and hit those notifications, or if you're listening on podcast platforms, follow us there. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Or subscribe on Rumble, or we're currently exploding on Instagram, Facebook, other social media platforms. So make sure you follow us all at the Israel Guys, places like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can also join our Breaking Updates Telegram group. The link to join is down in the description below. So make sure you get on all of those. Guys, check out this video.
Should Hamas stay in power? It's actually
Are you done yet?
It's actually a critical question.
Are you done yet?
It's a critical question.
Are you done yet?
No, it's the question.
Are you done yet?
Should they stay in power?
Are you done yet?
This country says they're a terror group. Do you agree? And should they stay in power?
Listen, I do not approve, support, or welcome Hamas.
Are they a terror? Are they a terror group?
Everybody knows what they are.
Are they a terror group?
Look, Piers.
Can you say it?
Piers, can we have a discussion?
Can you say it?
Can we have a discussion?
Can you call them a terror
Piers,
group? Jeremy?
can we have a discussion?
Can you call them a terror group?
Is it possible to have a rational discussion?
Are you
with
prepared to call
Is it
Hamas
possible
a terror group?
Is it possible to have a rational
You can't,
discussion
can you?
with you? Is it possible? Come on, answer that
You
question.
can't, can you?
You answer it.
No, it's my show. You answer my question.
Well,
are Hamas a terror group?
Listen, can I...
Are they a terror group?
Piers, can I...
Answer the question.
Can I speak?
Are they a terror group?
Piers,
No, no.
If you let me speak...
Are they a terror group?
If you'll let me speak, I'll say something.
Go on then.
A ceasefire means both sides...
You said that. Are they a terror group?
Listen, I said that...
Are they a terror group?
...of the process.
Are they a terror group?
Can we go...
Why can't you say it?
Piers, can we go through what ought to be happening?
Just answer my question.
Why do you think...
Are Hamas a terror group?
...in the world are calling for a ceasefire?
Are Hamas a terror group?
Come on, answer that. Answer me.
No, it's not your show.
You've got so many opinions.
Why should I answer yours when you won't answer mine?
Why do you give out your opinions all day and every day?
Are Hamas...
You don't like it.
Are Hamas a terror group? Yes or no?
You won't like it when somebody
Yes or
pushes
no?
back on you. What I've said is...
I've asked you two questions. Should Hamas stay in power, and are they a terror group? You're refusing to answer either of them. That is very telling.
So 15 times, at least, so one person said 17 times, Jeremy Corbyn was asked by Piers Morgan whether Hamas was a terrorist group, and that many times he refused to answer. Unfortunately, the state of affairs in the United Kingdom does not seem to be so great right now, and Jeremy Corbyn seems to be a prime example of that. The IDF has released a groundbreaking video, and our source links, guys, for all of this are in the description down below. Please watch the entire video from the Israel Defense Forces YouTube channel. The link is down below. This is mind-blowing. It's only about an 8-9 minute long video. You have to watch the entire thing. This is just incredible to see. IDF spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari, he did a tour of a tunnel that the IDF found in Gaza, right next to the Rantisi hospital in Gaza. First of all, he shows that a senior Hamas commander who is part of the October 7th attack and massacre lives right next door to the hospital. Ask yourself, why is the senior commander living right next door to the hospital? Because he's very scared that Israel would take him out otherwise, and he feels much safer living next to sick women, children, elderly patients in a hospital. In other words, he's using the hospital and the people inside as a human shield. But it gets worse. It gets much, much worse. Then he shows the entrance to a tunnel that an IDF robot found. Goes down into the tunnel, 20 meters, about 60 feet underground. They follow the tunnel. Where does it lead into? Directly into the basement of the complex in the hospital. A Hamas terrorist tunnel, 20 meters underground, goes straight into the basement of the hospital. What did we find in the hospital? Well, first of all, that's a violation of international law and a war crime outright, which you will not find the media and the war and the media and world governments accusing Hamas of, even though the evidence is right there for you to see on camera, on YouTube, on the IDF YouTube channel. Check it out for yourself. But this is a direct war crime, guys. But it gets even worse, okay? Because we go into the basement complex, and what do they find? They find weapons. They find munitions. They find suicide vests with explosives laying right there in a pile. They find AK-47 Kalashnikov rifles. They find grenades. They find RPG launchers. We're talking about massive amounts of weaponry in a hospital complex, ready to probably weapons that were actually used in the massacre on October 7th. They also found they think that some of the terrorists came straight from the October 7th attack back to this complex, because they go further into the basement and they find a massive amount of evidence that some of the Israeli civilians and foreign national civilians were held right here in this basement. First, they find by the way, they also found a motorcycle that was used. Remember how a lot of the Hamas terrorists use motorcycles to break through the fence and go into Israel? They found at least one of those motorcycles riddled with bullet holes in the seat, so they know this was one of the ones used in the October 7th attacks. So they go further into the complex basement, and what do they find? They find a chair with women's clothes sitting on the chair and a rope next to the feet of the chair. Likely a civilian hostage. A woman was tied up in this chair with her feet and probably her hands bound to the chair. Just above the chair, they find baby bottles sitting on a shelf right above the World Health Organization logo. No comment on that. Take your, draw your own conclusions from that. They find diapers laying on the floor right there. And then we go further into the basement, and what do we find? We find a room set up, designed to look like a living room. It's a basement with concrete walls. What have they done? They've hung curtains along the walls to make it look like a fake living room. Why would they do that? Because they want to film propaganda videos in there. They want to release videos of the hostages sitting in this living room. They want to make it look nice. They have plants, they have couches, they have curtains hanging. Guys, this is incredible. This is absolutely mind-blowing. There's no way to deny this. Jeremy Corbyn, unfortunately, you cannot deny this again. You need to admit that Hamas is a terrorist group, okay? There's no denying the horrific atrocities that took place. There's no denying that Hamas uses civilians as human shields. There's no denying that they are torturing their own people, hiding under hospitals, senior commanders living next door to the hospitals, and that they have tunnels directly connected to the hospitals. A little bit more about the Al-Shifa hospital complex right at the end of the show, so hang on for that. Guys, Israel is actually allowed under international law to strike a hospital if the hospital is directly involved and connected to terrorists like this, okay? That's actually allowed under international law. But guess what? Israel's not going to do that because they care more about Gazan civilians than Hamas has ever cared and will ever care in the future. Try changing my mind on that one. Are you the kind of person who looks to the timeless wisdom of the Hebrew Bible for guidance during challenging times? Are you passionate about uncovering the profound truths hidden within the sacred scriptures, especially when the world around us is in turmoil? The Israel Bible is not just another version of the Hebrew Bible. It's a window into the divine connection between the scriptures, the land of Israel, and our lives. Imagine holding a resource that combines the original Hebrew text with clear, accurate English translations. The Israel Bible brings these ancient words to life like never before. And guess what? It's not just for scholars or theologians. With profound commentary by Rabbi Tuli Wise and other Orthodox Jewish teachers, it's designed for people like you and me, the curious seeker, the faithful believer, the one who yearns to find comfort and peace during these challenging moments. What sets the Israel Bible apart is its unique approach to understanding God's promises and prophecies for the end of days. If you're eager to deepen your connection with God's Word and the Holy Land, you should consider purchasing the Israel Bible today. Click the link down in the description to learn more and start your journey toward understanding these sacred scriptures and finding comfort and solace amidst the turmoil. Link is in the description below. Please consider purchasing the Israel Bible today. So a couple of updates from the war with Hamas in Gaza. Washington Post columnist David Ignatius quoted an unnamed high-ranking Israeli source. This comes from the Jerusalem Post, by the way, when he said that Israel and Hamas are on the cusp of reaching a deal to exchange hostages from Gaza in return for a ceasefire. Hamas reportedly told Qatari mediators they were prepared to release 70 women and children from Gaza in exchange for a 5-day truce or a 5-day ceasefire with Israel. My opinion, I would not believe something like this yet. We can wait and see if more information comes out about it. And if you want to know what I think Israel should do, I don't think they should be mediating any kind of ceasefire until they take care of business completely. At the very, very minimum, until Hamas releases all 243 hostages. Every single hostage should be released. There should be no ceasefire in exchange for partial number of hostages, but it remains to be seen what is actually going to happen with this. Is it true? Please wait for more news to come out about this before believing this. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant says Hamas has lost control of Gaza completely. He said, quote, "There is no force of Hamas capable of stopping the IDF. The IDF is advancing to every point. Terrorists are fleeing south. IDF is mostly operating in the north part of Gaza. Civilians are looting Hamas bases. They have no confidence in the Hamas government." By the way, a photo is making its rounds on social media of the IDF, an elite unit in the IDF, inside Hamas's parliament building. We'll put that photo up on the screen. A before picture of Hamas parliament meeting and an after picture of a unit of IDF soldiers posing inside the parliament building with Israeli flags. The message is loud and clear. Israel is in control now. The terrorists are losing. And Israel announced yesterday that 6 senior Hamas commanders had been killed in Israeli airstrikes over the last 24 hours. That's very good news. And Defense Minister Yoav Gallant is now saying that because so many commanders and senior commanders have been killed, the actual terrorists and units of terrorists are having a much harder time launching missions and fighting against Israel because they don't have anyone to take orders from. So that's very, very, very good news. Okay, lastly, are you ready for this? Mind-blowing, I know, but U.S. intelligence is now confirming that Hamas's command center was actually under the Al-Shifa hospital. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Everybody was denying it. There was even people, a Norwegian doctor worked in the hospital saying, "I've never seen evidence of Hamas in the basement of this building." Guess what? Now are you going to believe it now the United States intelligence is confirming it? Or are you still going to say, no way, absolutely not? Guys, there's maps, there's diagrams. I mean, the IDF sent 300 liters of diesel to the hospital, and Hamas just stole the fuel right from out from under them right before it could get to the hospital complex. According to a post on Twitter, a U.S. intelligence official has now stated that the evidence provided by Israel, which claims the Hamas Command and Operations Center is beneath Al-Shifa Medical Center in Gaza. This is true, stating that the fuel provided by the hospital is often stolen by Hamas fighters who regularly stage and gather around the hospital in order to use the facility and its patients as human shields. Guess what? It's been happening all along. It's continuing to happen, and it will happen some more. Hospitals and the patients inside will be used as human shields. Hamas will try to stop patients and doctors from fleeing, and even when the IDF steps in, like to provide incubators for the babies left in the Al-Shifa hospital yesterday, provide fuel for the hospital, and safe passage, and the IDF providing medical help, et cetera, Hamas is still going to step in and try to prevent all of that from happening which is more violations of international law and war crimes, and is definitely evidence of them using their own people as human shields. Guys, check out all of these source links. You don't have to believe me. Believe the truth of what's actually happening in Israel and Gaza today. Don't forget to click the link in the description below to get your copy of the Israel Bible today in Hebrew and English. Guys, don't forget to subscribe. Let me know what you think about today's topic down in the comment section below. As always, tune out that fake news. Tune into what's actually happening here in the land of Israel. We're here every single day, Monday through Friday, with your direct connection to the land and people of Israel.